between the realm of the dead and the journeys of the living. Join Josh, Jamie, and Elisa as they delve into the vast world of the paranormal and breathe life back into the history of the departed.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Paranormal Peeps podcast.
Yay! So this is our first official episode of the new year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome 2026 and season 5.
That still blows my mind.
I know, right?
2026 still seems like next year to me.
I know. It's hard to get used to it.
It's always hard until like June or July. And then I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get used to it. Then I finally get used to it and it's December.
And then you got to gear up for the next one.
Yeah, before you know it, the Olympics will be here in Salt Lake City and it will be 2032.
Oh, my word. Let's not go that far yet.
I seriously wonder, though, if they'll keep it here because we're not getting snow.
Oh, they'll make it.
That's a heck of a lot of snow they're going to have to make.
Yeah.
Because we're literally not getting any.
Not right now.
No.
But hopefully that by then, or that year.
Yeah,
hopefully by
in 6
then.
years we get some snow.
It's just like slowly getting worse. Like I saw this video of, remember back in the day in Utah, this is what it used to be like. And they actually had snow. And I was like, yep, we did. Like we would have like 3 feet of snow, 4 feet of snow. And that was normal.
Yeah.
And now nothing. Like we're lucky when the grass gets frosted.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole cyclical weather thing. Because I remember, it was like 3 or 4 years ago, we had like 300% snowpack.
Mm-hmm.
So, everything kind of comes up and down. And I mean, there was one year, our first significant snowfall was on my birthday in February.
Sometimes that happens.
See, I grew up, my birthday is the last day of April. I grew up and I would have parties outside. We'd be in our swimsuits.
Dang.
Playing outside in the water. And now, like, I get snow on my birthday.
Isn't that crazy?
It's almost like that window of snow shifted just a little bit later. So instead
It's shifted like 2 months.
Yeah, so instead of getting it earlier and then it gets later. But I also talked to people who have lived here for a while, and they were like, we were golfing in February. And I'm like, that's insane.
Oh, that's going to happen this year.
Oh, it probably will. Outdoor pickleball coming up soon. All right. Elisa, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about Lake Lanier.
Heck yeah.
It is, I honestly had never heard of it and decided to look some things up and found it. And I was baffled by how much information they have.
There's a lot.
It is ridiculous how much crap goes on at this lake.
It sounds very familiar. I'm sure I'm going to remember it when I hear it.
I'm sure that you, as she goes on, you'll recall bits and pieces of it. They'll be familiar to you. I just have to say, I don't think I'd go to Lake Lanier.
No?
I don't think I would either.
I don't think so. Not from what I've seen and read, and there's just no way. With all the other lakes out there, that would be my last choice. One of my last choices.
Yeah.
And let's find out why.
Yes.
And I will tell you all about it. Are you ready? Buckle up. Okay. So Lake Lanier is one of the deadliest and most haunted lakes in America. And like, this is no joke. Like a lot of people will claim that they're the most haunted building in America or whatever. This, I believe. This one I actually believe. It has a lot of history and it started underneath the water. So before the lake was made, it was once a thriving city for a Black community called Oscarville. And everything started to go downhill with a young woman named May. In 1912, May Crow was an 18-year-old white woman living in the Oscarville area. And on a Sunday afternoon, she set out on foot to go visit her aunt. The path took her along the Browns Bridge Road, And it's just a trail that sits at the bottom of the lake. Well, she failed to arrive or return home. And the community formed a massive search. And for 18 hours, hundreds of men with lanterns scoured the dense pine forest of the Chattahoochee Riverbank. On the morning of September 9th, a local farmer found May in a secluded gully about a mile from her home. And the scene was pretty gruesome. She had been brutally beaten, sexually assaulted, her throat had been slashed, and her skull had been crushed with a heavy rock. Like, terrible, absolutely terrible. So the rock was found nearby, and it was covered in blood and hair. And miraculously, she was still alive.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. This girl was holding on for dear life.
Jeez.
She was unconscious and breathing shallowly, and she was carried back to her family home, where she stayed in a coma. And near the scene, searchers found a really small pocket mirror, and that mirror became the smoking gun used to implicate a 16-year-old Ernest Knox, who allegedly admitted to owning it under extreme duress. Now, see, part of me is like, I know people will cave after a while of interrogations.
Yeah.
And with lack of sleep,
Yep.
with wanting it just to be over and done, depending on how mean and brutal they can be. And I'm sure back then it was a heck of a lot worse than it is now because we have laws and rules.
Right.
And this kid is 16 years old.
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah. And unfortunately, back then, if a white person was murdered or hurt or killed or whatever in an area of Black people, they would go straight and say that it was a Black person that did it.
Right.
Yep.
And it's completely unfortunate. But May Crow lay in her bed while the county outside spiraled into chaos, like literal chaos. Because she never regained consciousness, May was never able to identify her attackers or describe what happened to her. So, September 10th, 1912, the next day, Rob Edwards, a 24-year-old farmhand, was arrested on suspicion of being an accomplice in the attack on May Crow. A mob of at least 2,000 white residents swarmed the small jail in downtown Cumming. The sheriff reportedly just handed over the keys, allowing them in, and leaving his deputy to be easily overpowered. The mob dragged Edwards from his cell, beat him with crowbars and hammers, and then he was shot multiple times while being dragged through the streets behind a wagon.
Oh,
So he was
jeez.
lynched.
Then his body was hauled to the Cumming Town Square, where he was hoisted onto a telephone pole. And then the mob then used his lifeless body for target practice.
That makes me sick.
And he was riddled with hundreds of bullets. Like, absolutely terrible. So May Crow survived for 2 weeks in a coma. So meanwhile, she's alive. This is like 2 days after this had happened.
Yeah.
But she survived for 2 weeks. And then on September 23rd, 1912, she succumbed to her injuries, and her funeral was the breaking point for the community. On the day she was buried at Pleasant Grove Church, white residents gathered in massive numbers. Witnesses described the atmosphere as electric, with grief and rage. As soon as the sun went down following her burial, white vigilantes known as the Night Riders began their campaign of terror. On October 25th, 1912, while Edwards was murdered by a mob, Ernest Knox, the 16-year-old, and Oscar Daniel, he's 17, were subjected to what historians call, quote, legal lynchings, fast-track trials with predetermined outcomes. Both boys were convicted by an all-white jury in a single day. You know that wasn't fair.
That's way
absolutely
not
not.
fair. That's terrible.
Yeah. Because, let's be honest, the odds of it being those boys probably was nil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you never know. But just because of how things were handled back in the day, they just went for the easiest target.
Of course. Yeah. That's terrible.
Reminds me of the Green Mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So despite Georgia law prohibiting public executions at the time, the sheriff prepared a massive event. Between 5,000 and 8,000 people in a county of only 12,000 gathered in a field owned by Dr. Ansel Strickland. Families brought picnic baskets with the teenagers hanging.
Okay, that's sick.
Right?
What is wrong with people?
They were probably waiting there all day.
Oh, jeez.
A 15-foot a 15-foot privacy fence meant to hide the gallows had been mysteriously burned down the night before.
Of course.
So mysterious. The sheriff had the torch and the deputy had the gas.
Yep. Ensuring that the crowd had a clear view. Because Ernest Knox was so small, a special noose had to be fashioned to ensure that the hanging worked correctly. Ugh. Can you imagine those parents?
I can't imagine any of it. It's all very horrific.
Yep. Following the death of May Crow and these lynchings, the Night Riders began a racial cleansing of the county. They delivered 24-hour notices to Black families, warning them to leave or be killed. So this is the whole town. They say the county, but they mainly talk about the town.
Right.
When families didn't leave fast enough, Night Riders burned their churches. They put dynamite in their homes. They fired rifles into their houses at night. They also slaughtered their livestock, so it would destroy their livelihoods. By the end of 1912, approximately 1,098 Black residents, nearly 98% of the Black population, had fled, leaving behind their homes, their crops, their lands, and eventually seized by white neighbors. So while that exact number is debated due to the lack of official death certificates for Black residents at the time, historical accounts from Patrick Phillips, he is an author of Blood at the Root, and the Atlanta History Center indicate that several individuals were killed at their homes or while attempting to flee. Night Riders regularly fired rifles into their homes, threw sticks of dynamites onto their rooftops, like we said, and many of the families escaped into the woods, and it was widely accepted by historians that some did not survive these midnight raids, particularly the elderly or those who attempted to flee or attempted to defend their property. A significant number of people, including infants and elderly, died shortly after the cleansing due to the exposure of being outside. Families were forced to flee with only what they could carry, often hiding in the woods or walking for miles in the cold toward the Hall or Gwinnett counties. May's story is the start of many Lake Lanier legends, providing the historical trauma that many believe fuels the lake's modern-day hauntings. May Crow is often considered the original spirit of the lake's dark energy. So when the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers began the process of creating Lake Lanier in the late 1940s, it wasn't just a matter of turning on the tap, but the build that would become one of the nation's largest man-made reservoirs. They had to systematically erase a valley of communities, farms, and history. The government purchased over 56,000 acres of private land. While some families sold willingly, many were forced out through eminent domain. Approximately 700 families were relocated, along with their businesses, schools, and churches. The government paid an average of just $50 per acre for the land. Can you imagine? $50 an acre?
No.
Was that good or bad back then?
I don't know. But
Yeah.
nowadays,
I couldn't imagine it nowadays. No
Yeah.
way.
you get like a quarter of an acre and you're paying $300,000 for it.
Yeah, it's
Well, at least.
ridiculous.
Now, imminent domain seizures is double market value.
Mm-hmm.
So if the government really wants it that bad because they're putting in that new freeway,
They're going to pay.
they're going to pay.
Yeah, but back then.
Yeah, back then I don't think it was. I think they were lucky to get $50 an acre because I think back then they could just take it, call it eminent domain, and say, "Have a good
We need
day."
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So while the residents moved, the physical structures often stayed because it was deemed too expensive and time-consuming to demolish every building. The Corps of Engineers only cleared what they had to for navigation. The city isn't gone, it's just simply submerged. Divers and sonar mapping have confirmed that much of the infrastructure remains on the lake bed. In the deeper parts of the lake that's over 100 feet down, there are fully intact houses, barns with tools still inside, and concrete bridges. Thousands of trees were not cut down. They remain standing underwater, and their branches, now leafless and covered in silt, creating a, quote, vertical graveyard that frequently entangles the gear of divers and the feet of swimmers. So they call it like the underwater forest.
Oh, yeah. And some of these trees are quite tall.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be so creepy to see. It's almost like what lies beneath.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually what I thought when I was researching all this. May Crow was buried in Oscarville, and when the Buford Dam was built in the 1950s, the valley containing the Oscarville cemeteries, including where May was buried, were flooded. They officially relocated 20 cemeteries, roughly like 2,000 graves. However, this process was deeply flawed. The corpse primarily moved graves that had headstones. Many of the cemeteries in Oscarville were considered or were unmarked graves or simply filled stones because they were poor communities.
Right.
Pauper stones, yeah. Pauper graves.
These were largely ignored or missed during the relocation process. The Civil War era graves and this, I don't know how to pronounce this, so if I pronounce this wrong, it's Summer. So it's Summer, O-U-R. Summer Hour? I don't know. But it's a mound, and it's a significant Cherokee burial and a ceremonial site that was also flooded without its remains being removed. So while many of these bodies were moved, records from that era were notoriously poor, leading to the belief that thousands of graves, including the ones from 1912, though all those victims, remain beneath the water.
So now we got poltergeist.
I
I hate to draw. I hate to always draw like movie references, but
That's what comes to mind, right?
that's what comes to mind because they're like, "Hey, we're gonna move the graves, and then we're gonna build a housing development on
Right,
there."
but then they didn't really move the graves.
Yeah, they didn't really move them, and
Yeah.
this is kind of the same point, right? They're like, we moved what we found.
Yeah, and then other ones.
Well, and that
were
like, I wonder how often they were like, no, we'll just do like one every 5 or something.
Right.
How many bodies that? Nobody will know.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen.
Because, I mean, they're leaving the houses.
Yeah.
They're leaving the barns.
They're leaving everything.
everything.
Yeah.
So I really honestly wonder if they were just like, screw this. We've dug up enough.
I could see that,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, then, and also too, like how many people were buried in backyards on, family plots that were never marked,
Right. Hard to say.
because that was pretty common practice too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go on the back 40, we'll, bury mom and pop back there, and it's where they love to be, so let's put them back there, and don't need to mark it. It's marked by a tree or whatever.
Right.
So this means that when people would swim in Lake Lanier, I mean, even today, they were literally swimming over the remains of hundreds of people who were never moved.
Yep.
So,
That's things of nightmares.
right? Buck Buchanan, a veteran diver who has spent decades in the lake, famously told local media that he has encountered, quote, body parts, arms and legs, while feeling his way through the dark silt.
Ah.
Because these remains were never officially dug up, they are technically still in their original resting places. Now 40 to 100 feet underwater, divers describe the sensation of touching limbs that don't move and aren't attached to trees fueling the belief that the unrelocated are still very much present.
Oof. That's freaky.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, like, swimming in there, not knowing the history, and then feeling something like that? I mean, I know these were divers but
Are
could you
familiar,
imagine? Yeah, but could you imagine someone just swimming?
No.
And coming in contact with that.
These ones that are just dug by family members or whatever, how deep are they actually?
Right.
Oh, they're not going to be 6 feet under.
Nope.
Yeah. So since the lake was filled in 1956, it has claimed between 700 and 750 lives.
That's a lot.
Since
the highest.
1956.
Yeah.
70 years.
I know, but...
Yeah, like that's a lot.
That's 10 a year. That's quite a few for a body of water.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why we'll never go.
Never gonna go.
Okay, by the way, guys, I have a cold, if you can't tell by my voice. And I have a throat lozenge. What are they called?
Lozenge.
In my mouth.
A throat thing.
She's sucking on a cough drop.
So if you hear it, I apologize. But we're trying to make it through. Okay, so 27 of those victims that have died at the lake have never been found. Their bodies were most likely stuck inside those trees.
Ugh.
Because reality is, I mean, 100 feet is deep, but that's like the deepest section.
Right.
And you can have a 100-foot tree.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, realistically speaking.
I mean, a lot of those trees are really tall. I don't think they're 100 feet tall, but there's some that are under there that are pretty dang tall.
Yeah.
Or they're sitting. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
could you imagine diving into like one of the houses, right? Because you want to go check it out, and you got your scuba gear on. You get into the house and you look up, and there's just a body floating on the ceiling of someone that's just drowned there.
That's a whole lot of nope.
Yeah, I believe that happened with New Orleans with Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, I bet.
Like they go through and they'd clear bodies out of flooded houses, but they come back and they'd find more, family members like going up to the attic and stuff, and that just drowned. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. So the lake averages between 15 and 20 fatalities per year.
That's crazy.
To put that in perspective, Lake Allatoona, who receives about the same amount of visitors per year, often has fewer than 5. Same amount of people go and visit, but they have most often less than 5 people that die per year.
Yeah.
I would say probably there's got to be less than that on like Lake Michigan a year that die. And Lake Michigan's a pretty nasty lake. It's claimed a lot of ships.
Lake Lanier is probably the highest body count year after year.
Oh, yeah. So it's appropriately called the Lake Lanier curse.
Mm-hmm.
So in April 1958, Susie Roberts and Delia Parker Young were driving home from a dance. They stopped to get gas, skipped out on paying for it, and they were driving away in their 1954 sedan, and it skidded off the Jerry D. Jackson Bridge and plummeted 100 feet into the dark waters.
Oof.
Many divers on the State Route 53 reported seeing a woman in a long, flowing blue dress wandering the bridge at night. Eyewitnesses described her as appearing, quote, lost or searching, often seen walking along the edge of the bridge or standing in the road. Witnesses who have slowed down or offered to help described a moment of pure terror. As the woman turns towards the car, they realize that she has no hands. And before they can react, she doesn't vanish into thin air. She simply steps off the side of the bridge and falls into the water, disappearing before she even hits the surface.
Oh, I'd pee my pants.
Right?
Oh, 100%.
I would totally pee my pants if I saw that.
Especially if she looks corporeal. If she looks solid, that would be absolutely freaky.
Well, and you think odds are that she does look solid because most people aren't going to stop for something
That they
that
can see
doesn't
through.
look like an actual person.
Or that's floating.
Mhm.
Or see-through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some people would, but most people won't.
So initially, it was only thought of as a legend until 1959. A fisherman discovered a female body floating near the bridge. The corpse was wearing remnants of a blue dress, but was so badly decomposed that it was missing its hands and 2 toes.
Oh, geez.
So it's like legit. People were like, what the heck? Because
But-
they were, before her body was found, that they were saying that she was missing her hands.
Yeah,
So she
and wearing
was-
a blue dress.
Yeah.
She was, I bet you she was trying to show people where her body was.
Oh, I bet.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
I bet.
Yeah.
But listen to this. So that happened. So her body was found in 1959. But in 1990, during some bridge renovations, the 1954 sedan was found at the bottom of the lake. The divers who first laid eyes on it described the scene from a horror movie. The car was buried deep in the muck near the bridge supports. The diver who found it reported that the car didn't look like a wreck. It looked parked. He claimed that as he wiped the silt off the driver's side window, he saw a skeletal face looking back at him, and the jaw was dropped open as if the skeleton was trying to scream. He later told investigators that the energy around the car felt heavy and protected, as if the lake itself didn't want him to take the car back. So in 1959, the 1959 body was then confirmed to be, I want to say Delia.
Is it Dahlia?
Delia. Delia? I don't know.
Delilah.
No, there's only one L.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
No.
Anyway, so despite the recovery of their remains, sightings of the Lady in Blue still continue. In 1964, there was a Christmas Day massacre, that they call it. On December 25th, 1964, a holiday outing turned into one of the lake's deadliest single vehicle accidents. A car carrying 11 passengers, mostly children, careened off the bridge into the freezing water. 7 people died, including 5 children and 2 adults. The tragedy is often cited as a dark pulse of the lake. Locals and paranormal researchers claim that on Christmas night, you can hear the faint muffled sounds of children crying or splashing near the site of the crash, despite the area being deserted.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's really sad.
It is sad. I mean, part of me, though, would want to go try to go there on Christmas night and investigate and see if you can actually hear it. Like,
You
to like
know-
substantiate the claims.
Okay, that's fair, but even with that, I don't think I would go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't.
I don't know. I think I would.
I don't think I would.
I mean, I would do it very respectfully.
Well, we always try to do everything really respectfully when it
Right.
comes to these things, but I just don't like the energy that surrounds all of it.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing for me, though, is kids aren't going to have a bad energy. So for me, I would want to see what that energy feels like.
Right.
What really is this energy?
Right. I mean more or less the energy of not like the victims that were claimed, but just of the lake itself and whatever is
Yeah.
behind a lot of the bad stuff.
Right.
The happenings.
Right. It's
The
less
negative
about
happenings.
it's less about the singular instance. It's more
Right.
about the
What's
whole.
causing it? Like,
Yeah.
okay, was them driving off of that bridge just like a total accident, which could have totally
I bet
been.
it was, because if it's cold and
Right.
icy,
Right. So you could slide, you could go over the bridge.
Yep.
Okay, I get that, but maybe,
or unless somebody was falling asleep or something.
right, but maybe it's not the spirits of like the kids and the people that have necessarily died there, but there's that other energy that's there.
The more dark, more
The dark,
sinister.
the negative, whatever's, claiming these things. And
That's true.
The curse in itself.
yeah, like I don't like messing with stuff like that.
It's understandable.
Makes
You know?
sense. So the next death remains one of the most perplexing and unexplained incidences associated with the lake. Kelly Nash, a 25-year-old college student, disappeared from his home in Beaufort, Georgia, in the early morning hours. His girlfriend reported seeing him around 4 a.m., and he was awake because he had been coughing and sneezing from a sinus infection. Oh, that sounds familiar. When she woke up again at 7:30 a.m., Kelly was gone. He left behind his wallet, cell phone, car keys, and his pickup truck. The most unsettling was the fact that he appeared to have left in his pajamas. He had on dark pajama pants and a tan shirt. During the cold January morning. Yeah.
Was he sleepwalking?
See, here's the thing. After a massive 5-week search and a reward that grew up to $50,000, his body was found by a fisherman in Lake Lanier near a private dock along Shadburn Ferry Road. This location was several miles from his home. He walked miles to get there in the cold with nothing warm on.
That's weird.
That's very weird.
Yeah. The case, and it's like 4 a.m. That's part of the coldest time.
Yeah.
Like midnight is not as cold as 4 a.m.
Nope.
So the case took a darker turn when the medical examiner findings were released. While initial reports focused on drowning, the autopsy revealed a gunshot wound. Authorities confirmed that a 9mm handgun was missing from Kelly's home at the time of his disappearance. Although the Hall County Sheriff's Office eventually stated that they did not suspect foul play, the circumstances walking miles in pajamas while ill, only to end up at the lake with a gunshot wound, has never been fully explained to the satisfaction of many researchers. It has fueled theories like, quote, lake-induced trances. Some people believe that the lake has a psychological pull that draws people to it. A very recent and unsettling death involved 27-year-old Raymond Diaz Soria, which many locals view as evidence of, quote, unseen hands. Raymond, a 27-year-old account executive and community leader from Atlanta, was on a rented pontoon boat with his friends to celebrate a birthday near Van's Tavern Park, an area close to a submerged ruins of the old Oscarville settlements. The boat came to a stop in a residential cove. Raymond decided to jump into the water for a swim. Friends witnessed him enter the water, but chillingly, he never resurfaced. Witnesses say it happened within seconds. The moment he was there, and then the next, he had simply vanished in the murky 60-foot depths. So Raymond could not swim. Knowing this, he was wearing a life jacket when he jumped. While Raymond disappeared instantly, his life jacket was found floating on the surface moments later. The community of Lake Lanier Truthers, is what they call themselves. This is seen as a classic example of the, quote, unseen hands. The legend suggests that something beneath the surface actively pulls victims down, stripping them of their flotation devices to ensure that they are claimed.
Creepy.
It took rescue teams more than 24 hours to find him. Using side imaging sonar, game wardens eventually located his body on Sunday evening. He was found at the bottom of the lake in 60 feet of water. This is significant depth for someone who had just jumped from the surface, suggesting that he sank rapidly and straight down.
Weird.
Yeah,
Like bodies normally float.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does he just go straight down?
I don't know.
Especially with the life vest on.
The only thing I can think of, well, I mean, his life vest comes off because it comes off right after he jumps in.
Yep.
So he could have improperly put it on.
Right.
Didn't fit properly, yeah.
Yeah.
But in order to sink down, you have to release all of your breath. And even then, it's hard to sink all the way down.
Yeah, because eventually you'll just start floating again. I mean, you'll be gone, but you'll float.
Yeah, so
Well, typically when your body starts to decompose,
It will float.
you will float.
Yeah.
It
But
is
it
still,
sounds like he sank right away.
yeah, instantaneously.
Yeah.
He said rapidly even.
Which the interesting thing is like, even if someone jumps in the water who can't swim, they will fight
Yeah.
to stay up.
Yeah.
But
It doesn't sound like he did.
it doesn't sound like that. Now, there is one potential possibility of this, non-paranormal, right? Is if the water of the lake is cold in that area and it's a warm day, when your body hits that water,
into
you can go
shock.
into shock.
Right.
And you could sink instantly with that, because I had that happen to me when I jumped into a lake. I was going water skiing, and I had my life vest on, and I tossed my skis in the water and jumped in after them. And as soon as I hit the water, it was instant shock, and I couldn't move. Had I not had a life vest, I would have sank.
Right.
So maybe it was a case of shock
Could have been.
that pulled him down.
If not eventually turning into shock, because
Right.
his life vest goes and then that puts him into shock just for the fear of drowning.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if he's already in partial shock, I mean, it could really just
Yeah, I don't know.
terrify him and mess you up too.
Well, it
Yeah.
reminds me of like, we'd always call it a candlestick. When you jump and you put both arms up and you touch your hands together at the top and you jump in, point your toes, and then that way you're kind of like a bullet going
Goes
into
Yeah.
the
down.
water.
Mhm.
And so we'd say candlestick, and then everybody jumps in and sees who can reach the ground, the bottom, and then push yourself back up. And we do this at the deep end at 12 feet.
Yeah.
And we were fighting to get down to that 12 feet
Right.
without life jackets. So, like, you had to jump really high to get that far down. And that was
Right.
only 12 feet.
You need
not
more of
60.
the momentum going in.
Yeah. So, but I know people will be at the bottom of the pools and they're drowning.
Yep.
But that's usually they get sucked down because of the drain that's sitting at the bottom of the
Not
pool.
always.
Not always.
No.
But so it's just, I don't know. It's a mystery. But I did do some more research on that, and they did say that they are claiming that he didn't put his vest on appropriately. So,
But that wouldn't explain the sinking straight down
No.
like instantaneously, like
No,
just like
that would have to be a shock response,
it would have to be.
Mhm.
because, like I said, you would fight. If you throw somebody who can't swim into the water, they're going to be kicking and screaming and fighting.
Well, yeah, if he
to-
jumped in, he would be splashing around once the life jacket come on. I think he would have panicked and started splashing around, but to jump in and just sink straight to the bottom, because they
Yeah.
said he went in and just never come out.
Yep.
They didn't say any splashing, nothing.
Right, which to me says shock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or unseen hands just drag him down, which,
Right, but if we're looking for a rational explanation,
right, non-paranormal explanation, I would
it
go
would be
with
the
shock.
shock.
But come on, Jamie, this is a paranormal podcast. We're going
Right.
for paranormal.
Not everything's paranormal. Blasphemy.
Dare you say that on this podcast?
You're out.
You're ruining it for me, Jamie.
That's what I do.
Okay, so now we're going to start going into like the sightings that people have been experiencing. So a more modern but chilling account comes from the early 2000s, reported by two fishermen working near the center of the lake. Okay, pretend you are one of these fishermen, okay? This would
Okay.
scare you so bad. Okay, as dusk settled, they spotted a small, primitive white raft, barely more than a piece of styrofoam or plywood, floating in a high-traffic area. Sitting on it was a man wearing a dark, heavy hooded parka, which was bizarre given that it was a humid Georgia summer night. The fishermen pulled their boat alongside to warn him that he was in a dangerous spot for large vessels. The man didn't look up. His face remained obscured by the hood. When they called out again, the man suddenly stood up Instead of asking for help, he jumped into the water and started swimming towards them, and then suddenly disappeared.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Not fishing out there anymore.
Right? And then just as the white raft was about to come in contact with their boat, it vanished.
Oh, that's crazy.
But there was no splash, no ripple, no debris. And both men reported that the area where the raft had been was suddenly dead calm.
Weird.
Another encounter, the campers at the park had reported seeing a white shape drifting under the moonlight. When they shine a spotlight on it, they see a man in a hood. Every time a light fixed on him, the man immediately rolls off the raft into the water. Witnesses rush to the shore or launch boats to save him, but they never find a body, a raft, or even bubbles. It's as if the event of his drowning is being projected onto the water like a movie.
Oh, so it's just replaying.
Like replaying
like
over and
residual.
over again. In 2011, during a period of low water levels, a local resident reported finding a, quote, shredded, ancient-looking white raft snagged in the branches of a submerged tree that had become exposed. The raft was made of materials that looked decades old. When the residents returned the next day with a camera to document it, the raft was gone, even though the water levels hadn't risen and there had been no wind to move it. There is no record of a man on a white raft dying in the lake. However, paranormal researchers have two chilling theories. One, some believe the man was a resident of Oscarville who may have been trying to flee the night riders in 1912 by crossing the river on a makeshift raft before the valley was even flooded, which is very possible.
Very possible.
Plausible.
Or two, between 1950 and 1960, record keeping for the lake was chaotic. You know, because like it's new, right?
Yep.
Many people believe he was a solo fisherman who died in the early days of the lake. And because no one was looking for him, his body and his raft just became part of the unrecovered statistics.
I don't know. I kind of gravitate towards the first theory.
I do too.
I do too. A couple things. One, if he was to roll off the raft and just into the water and disappear, that's almost like he got shot.
Or like a heart attack.
Or a heart attack.
You know, or like something like a stroke, you know, or an aneurysm or, you know, something like that.
Well, because these night riders were going to go out and shoot people. And so I could see that you're actually seeing his death on the river, where he jumped into the water
to flee, well.
Shot. Or he was shot on the raft and jumped into the river.
Totally.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, I don't know how wide the river is.
Lake Lanier, or the river that
the river that was
about?
there. The river that was there before.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so, like, or how wide it was there when it was there.
Yeah.
Type of deal. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But like, I have witnessed, you know, reoccurring things like that. And like, I have heard a lot of stories of where, like, and I think we've talked about this before in recent, or not, maybe not recent, but in podcasts, where these residual spirits will do the same routine, walk into their house, walk down the hall, go into their room or whatever. But where I watched one where the floor was lifted up like 3 feet. Like they raised the house, and the spirit actually walked through the floor, like at the waist, was through the door because original house was low.
Right. Yep. And since they raised it
Yeah.
later on, and that spirit still takes that walk, it's taking it on the original level of the floor.
Yeah. And it goes right through the middle of the floor.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I personally would feel that it was a residual thing.
Mm-hmm. It sounds very residual.
It sounds extremely residual.
Yeah.
And the fact that it happens at night makes me think of the first one.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because a lot of them try to flee.
They were trying to flee, but they were probably more than likely getting caught at night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like they were keeping records of that.
No.
Oh, no.
They have zero records of anybody dying. Zero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not gonna.
No. Because they don't care.
Nope.
Nope. So the reason why it's scary for swimmers is because they have a thing called, quote, the vanishing man. And it's often blamed for the unexplained bumps that they'll get at the bottom of their boats. Boaters at the Mary Alice Park often frequently report the sensation of hitting a large object in open water, only to find that nothing around them and there's no damage to their propellers or anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Weird.
No trees, no anything like that, but they'll feel a poof.
And you're gonna know, like, you hit something in a boat, you're gonna
it.
You know it. You
Well,
know you
and-
hit something.
Think about it. When we go ghost hunting, we often hear knocks
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
bangs,
Yep.
and they can be really loud. People in their homes, when they have hauntings or anything like that, a lot of the times they'll hear a huge crash, but there's no evidence of anything tipping over, falling over, nothing. No
Or doors
furniture being moved.
opening and shutting all over in the basement, and then you go downstairs, but everything's the way
Right?
you left it.
Or a
Right?
2x4 being thrown across a room.
Yep.
So, I mean,
But there's no 2x4.
Yeah.
so I personally can understand this happening
Sure. Yeah.
because I can't say that it can happen outside of water and not inside water.
Right.
Right.
I couldn't say that. Featured in a paranormal investigation like Expedition X, this account comes from a local athlete named Rachel, who was training for a triathlon at the lake. While swimming long-distance laps in a quiet cove, Rachel reported seeing or feeling a sudden intense cold spot in the water that didn't move with the current. As she reached out during a stroke, she felt a human arm brush against her own. Rachel felt a sudden localized drop in temperature again. In the murky water, she then felt what was described as multiple hands brushing against her legs. When she looked underwater with her goggles, she saw a figure in a blue garment drifting just below her. Terrified, she swam for the shore, but she felt a distinct pulling sensation on her ankle, as if something were trying to keep her from leaving the water. And that it was not like being stuck on one of the trees. She eventually made it to the land, but refused to swim in the lake again, citing the feeling that the entity was watching her from the tree line.
No thanks.
Creepy.
So that is the thing of my nightmares.
Oh, yeah.
I used to swim in lakes and stuff, and that when I'd swim out into deeper water, I mean, we're not talking deep water, right? Like
Well, okay,
10
but
foot, 12 foot deep water.
dark,
Dark,
murky.
murky.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the lakes I swam in were algae lakes, so like it was always murky.
Well,
and
that's how they describe this lake as
But-
murky.
that's what I always like terrified of when I was swimming back. Was like someone's gonna grab me. Like you'd brush seaweed,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
and you're like, oh,
and
yeah.
you're freaking out that it's a hand. But then to look underwater and see a body floating, pacing you.
Yeah.
Nope.
Freak, I was scared of fish touching me,
Oh,
let
same
alone
Here. Same here.
a freaking body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Body's not the first thing that came to my mind when I swam in lakes and the ocean stuff. It was always critters.
But it definitely would be on my first thought if I was swimming here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I wouldn't swim there.
Nope.
Let's face it.
I would
Not
not.
getting in that water.
Whatever. Josh, we're going to take you and we're going to dump you in and we're going to see what you experience.
We're going to row you out to the middle of the lake in a boat and we're going to toss you over.
Perfect.
And
No
we're gonna
life
film
jacket.
It. We're going to film it.
Okay, perfect. And then you can call for an ambulance and haul my corpse out of there when you're done.
If we ever find it.
If you ever find it.
We'll tie you, we'll put a rope around you.
a
The
rope,
safety line.
and to make sure that you don't get lost, we'll put we'll put a weight on it, just to make sure we can find you again.
And we'll also give you a really long 50-foot rubber hose. We'll keep the one end in the boat, and you take the other end down with you.
We'll just put a buoy when he hits bottom. We'll just put a buoy and then we'll be like, okay, that's where he is. We'll come back later.
You got your hose, right?
Don't worry, you're in 100 feet of water.
You're good.
Just don't breathe, okay?
We'll be back in an hour. Finish your EVP session.
Let us know what you get. So now we're going to go into divers. So like Josh, like what you were saying earlier with divers going into these houses, you just wait. So a diver reported grabbing what he thought was a submerged branch to steady himself, only to feel that the branch wrapped its fingers around his wrist.
Ah.
He panicked and surfaced so quickly that he suffered from the decompression sickness, the bends.
Yep.
Ooh, he was
hauling.
He was down at the deep end of the lake.
Yeah. He swore it wasn't a limb of a tree, but a hand that was warm to the touch.
Warm to the touch?
Warm.
Yeah, and you're going to know at depth.
You're going to know, yeah.
Because I have been in bed and had my ankle grabbed, and you feel the fingers. 100% you feel fingers.
What?
I don't think I've ever had that happen. I've had my face blown on and it was ice cold.
But you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to sleep. I felt so good.
I did. I was like, oh, that air conditioning is great.
But there wasn't any
No,
air conditioning.
I've had someone grab my ankle and pull it out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
I felt myself being pulled out of bed.
Here?
No.
Okay.
Was it at the lake house?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that I can believe. That place was haunted.
Yeah.
Too bad we can't go investigate there. Okay, so the second one. In the 1980s, a diver exploring a deep section of the lake near the old town site reported coming across a structure that looked like a stone fountain. Fountain? It's a foundation, guys. Not a fountain.
Not a fountain.
It'd be kind of cool if there was a fountain there that actually worked.
That'd be a little weird, wouldn't it?
As he moved his light across the silt, he saw what appeared to be rows of wooden benches, like pews, still bolted to the floor. And he described seeing, quote, shadowy figures sitting in the pews. And when he moved closer to the figures, they dissipated into clouds of silt.
Wow.
Paranormal researchers suggest that this is another residual haunting. The spirits of Oscarville, the congregants refusing to leave.
Very possible.
Very possible.
Yep.
There have been other places that they've taken pictures in old churches where there's, they get not necessarily shadow figures, but like white figures or just.
Bannock's one of them.
Yeah.
In the church in Bannock,
Oh, yeah.
in Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty cool.
That is pretty neat.
When searching for a drowning victim, divers have to fan the silt at the bottom to see what's underneath it. Multiple divers have reported the sensation of their fingers getting tangled in long flowing hair in areas where no body was ever found.
Oh, that would scare you a little bit.
Right? One recovery diver in the 1990s claimed that he had a head of hair and began to pull, thinking he had found a victim. Instead, he pulled up a handful of thick black hair that wasn't attached to anything. And when he brought it to the surface to show his partner, the hair had vanished, leaving only a foul-smelling black sludge in his glove.
Gross.
Ew.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the foul smelling because, like when lakes, when they recede,
Mm-hmm.
but it smells so bad.
Right. I wonder if it wasn't something that when it's under the water, it's like hair.
Right.
And then when you expose it to the air and it just turns to like slime and sludge.
Right.
There are like plants or whatever in the water or whatever seaweeds and stuff. I forget what they're called that do that.
Probably it's like seagrass, but
I don't know if that would be in a lake.
no, I think that would be
But it also has to be
giant
black.
squid will do, yeah,
Yeah.
giant squid will do that. But those are like deep, deep, deep.
Well, yeah, and that's not a lake. That's
not a
the
lake.
ocean.
Yeah.
Big difference. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of because there's some
Right.
things that will be like, it looks like hair. It's really fine. And, and you get it to the surf, pull it up and it's just like goop.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's not some sort of
See, that's where I kind of
growth.
lean.
Some kind of vegetation.
Right.
Yeah. that's
Maybe
at
it
the
was like some
bottom.
like rotted,
Mhm.
or something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that stuff works.
Yeah, and it's tough too because you can't really see, right? But
Right.
and let's face it, like if you get any organic rotting material at the bottom of a lake or swamp,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then you bring it up to the surface, it's going to stink to
It's
high
going to
heaven.
stink.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
It's going to be nasty.
Yeah.
But you would think experienced divers would know the difference. They would know what they're touching.
Unless it's something they've never come across before.
It's true.
Well, and if you think about it, it was a freaking city
Yeah.
that still had all their stuff left.
Right.
How often do you come across an entire city underneath the water?
You don't.
There's got to be other type of chemicals, other type of things that just happen down there that
Mhm.
isn't normal to lake beds,
Yeah.
the natural growth of things.
Yep.
Because they had oils, they had gas, they had all sorts of things,
Yeah.
chemicals down there that, I mean, granted, this was a long time ago.
But there still would have been compounds, organic or otherwise.
Right.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it was a bunch of horsehair,
Totally could have been.
And then you
You don't
grab
know.
it and it's kind of partially decayed. So as you bring it up, definitely because of the pressure difference, right? It
Just turns to mush.
just turns to mush.
Well, and also, too, it's sludgy at the bottom.
Yeah.
They say the whole bottom is covered in like a sludge.
It's like a mud bottom lake.
Yeah.
Mud
And it's not
clay.
your typical bottom of your lake.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nasty.
So while it would have resembled the look of hair in the water,
Mm-hmm.
when you brought it up, it just disintegrates and turns to sludge.
Yeah. Definitely adds to the mystery of everything, though, because
But if you did enough study and stuff, you may be able to figure out what it is.
right. You'd have to take it back for a composition test.
Yeah.
And that's
But let's be real. I guarantee you they were like not even thinking about that. They were
You know
probably like,
what?
this
Honestly-
thing stinks so bad.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought about it
I
either.
wouldn't
No.
either.
No.
No, because you're there looking for a body. You're not there to look for answers to other things.
Yeah.
And so you're just going to chalk it up of, well, that was weird
And gross.
And gross and stinky.
I'm out.
So also under there is called the Gainesville Speedway. It's a submerged racetrack. And it's a hot spot for these encounters because the concrete grandstands are still there. Divers exploring the grandstands have often reported feeling hands pushing them from behind or pulling at their oxygen tanks. Okay, every time I was researching this with their oxygen tanks, I was thinking of like old people dragging their oxygen tanks.
The things in their nose.
Instead.
On the
And
little
I'm like,
wheel
why
carts.
would they do that? That's so mean.
Just swimming, holding the oxygen tank behind you.
They got
Pulling
like,
it on your little cart with the little
they have
wheels.
the little things in their nose.
Yeah.
Like, so dumb. It literally, that was the first thing I thought of. And I had to like correct myself every single time I read it. So one diver reported that his regulator, the piece that allows him to breathe, was repeatedly pulled out of his mouth by an unseen force while he was near the finish line of the old track. And every time he replaced it, he felt another sharp tug again, forcing him to abandon the dive.
It didn't want him to cross the finish line and win.
He was like, screw you,
So
sucker, I'm winning.
Yep. So it kept pulling it out.
That's freaky though, because
That is scary.
That's something you hold with your mouth. With your
I know.
teeth.
Yeah. Well, and that's your
Lifeline.
lifeline, and someone keeps pulling it out.
At 100 feet down.
Yeah, that's freaky.
Yeah.
I would have abandoned the dive too.
And let's face it, it's above a speedway, which means there's no trees, there's no like debris that would get in the way that you'd hook it onto to yank it out of your mouth.
Right. Yeah, that's a little unnerving.
Yeah.
So on the lake, they also use side imaging sonar. Unlike traditional sonar that shoots just like a single beam straight down, they call that a fish finder. The side imaging, or they call it SI, sends out a razor-thin beam to the left and to the right, covering about 400 feet on either side of the boat. And it creates a 3D-like sonogram at the bottom. And it doesn't just show blobs, it actually shows the shadows and 3D shapes of objects, like the rungs of a ladder or the branches of a tree. So I've actually seen these, and I've seen where they have found bodies, and you see the bodies, and they are distinct.
Yeah, like
arms, legs, head, torso.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw one on a reel where they found a body and the hands up like this.
Yeah.
And you could tell clear as day.
And you can tell cars, the shapes of the cars.
Yep.
So these make it perfect for body recoveries because Lake Lanier's visibility is near zero, often called the diving in chocolate milk, which is so gross. Why would you want to swim in that?
I wouldn't.
If this is one of the most popular lakes, why would you want to go to, I would want to go something more like a clearer lake.
Right? Where you have some visibility.
There's not a lot of clear lakes, though. Like, growing up, all the lakes I swim in were like
murky.
Were murky like that. They were, I mean, it wouldn't say chocolate milk because I think it makes you think of brown, right?
Yeah.
But it was green. It was just full of algae, and as you're swimming through it, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
You put your hand down into the water, and it's gone.
Yep. That's what Long Lake's like.
Yeah.
Where we used to live. Yeah.
Structural mapping, researchers use it to locate the remains of Oscarville. They have successfully mapped the Gainesville Speedway. The Georgia Department of Natural Resources, the DNR, use the SI. Okay, are we going to keep up with this, guys? To find drowning victims. It is the only way to see through the silt and the vertical forest of standing trees at the bottom. Structural mapping, the researchers use it to locate the remains of Oscarville. They have successfully mapped the Gainesville Speedway, old bridge pilings, and the foundations of houses that were never demolished. Side imaging sonar often picks up the humanoid shapes, standing upright on the lake floor near the old Oscarville home sites. When divers go down to check out those exact coordinates, they find nothing but flat mud.
Okay, now that's
cool.
Right?
I would love to see that.
Then I'd be like, can I take a recorder down somehow?
Get one of those little underwater vehicles.
Yeah. In several documented investigations, including episodes from Expedition X and local research groups, sonars have picked up an upright humanoid figures standing in what used to be the streets or doorways of Oscarville. These aren't just logs. Logs lay flat or on angles, and these targets show a head, torso, and limbs standing perfectly vertical on the lake floor.
Kind of like they're just doing what they used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
Just carrying on.
I honestly would be totally fine just being on a boat doing the sonar just to see if I could find one.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I would do that.
I don't need to dive.
Nope.
I just want to do the sonar.
I won't go in the water, but I'll go out in the water and do the sonar.
I think it'd be awesome if you got a hit on that and then drop an ROV right away.
Yeah.
And then because you
go
can
down
get
there
an
and
ROV
film
there real quick.
Explain what an ROV is.
Remote operated vehicle. So it's the submersibles that they use.
It's kind of like
robots.
a drone for the water.
Yeah. And they got cameras. The cool thing is they got cameras, they got aquaphones, they got lights, and you can rig them with speakers. So you could technically, with the audio phone,
Ask questions.
you could actually do an
And
EVP
record.
session.
Oh, no way. That's way
Do like
cool.
an under the water EVP session.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
You could.
That
Now,
would be
I
amazing.
don't think anyone's ever done it, but it
Oh,
would be neat.
They
Oh,
totally should.
somebody needs to do it here.
Yes.
So, and sometimes when a diver is sent down to the exact GPS, they find the nothing but the flat silt, right? So then the boat goes back over it, over the area, and the figure's gone.
That's so cool.
That is so cool.
I would love to see something like that.
Oh my gosh, me too. So it kind of reminds me of like an SLS.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
In a way, right?
It's like an SLS. It's like any of the IR stuff that we use.
Right.
Yep.
Because it's picking up, I mean, it's picking up an image of some sort, right? But the part that's interesting is that the side scan sonar that they're using, in order for that image to show up, the sound has to bounce off of it. So it would be interesting if we could find a way to use that in investigations. And use that like a sonar type device in a room
Oh, that'd be so cool.
to see if you could get mappings coming back. Much more like you would, like a bat would use.
Right. Where the sound bounces off of it.
Yep. And then comes back, and then you
Mhm.
have the piece. So the technology's there. I just don't think anyone's ever used it that way.
That'd be so cool.
All right, somebody get on it, and don't
And keep us
make
posted.
it cost $5,000.
Yep.
Right?
Get on it.
Please.
So during a 2024 scan near the Jerry Jackson Bridge, researchers reported a target that looked like a person suspended in the water column, so neither at the bottom or at the surface. The sonar shadow, which is often more accurate than the image itself, showed a figure with arms extended. Chillingly, the shadow of the arms appeared to end in stumps,
Oh, geez.
matching the handless description of the lady in the blue dress.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
DNR and recovery teams have noted that when they scan the foundations of the old flooded houses, they often see multiple signatures inside the structures. Skeptics say that these are large catfish or schools of striped bass. Divers who have gone down to these fountains describe an oppressive feeling as if they're trespassing in someone's living room. The sonar picks up these shape clusters together in corners, the behavior not common for fish in open water.
Well, yeah, and the thing is like the images I've seen from sonar are pretty like vivid and accurate.
Right.
I don't see how a school of fish would show up as a arms, legs, and a head, and
No.
like a person.
They're like down there like, hey, let's screw with these people.
Oh, is it like the ones from
In Finding Nemo?
Finding Nemo that could do shapes?
That's what I'm saying.
Divers in the area of the old Oscarville foundations sometimes report seeing a faint shimmer or a bobbing light, like a lantern under the water. In local lore, some link the shimmer to the pocket mirror found in May's crime scene, like someone shining the light
Reflecting
Oh,
it.
right.
to reflect it back
Yep.
at you. Paranormal researchers often argue that the lake isn't haunted by May herself, but by the collective trauma of the 1,100 people who were violently displaced because of her death. The unseen hands that swimmers report feeling are frequently attributed to the unrest of the people of Oscarville, whose lives and land were stolen. Now let's be real. There is an energy that happens in things like in traumatic events.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There was a lot of emotion, fear, anger, so many emotions, and very strong
Oh, yeah.
from a lot of people
On both sides.
on both
Yes.
sides. That's right.
So if you think about it, those 2,000 people who went to the jail, those 5,000 people 5 to 8,000 people who went to witness the hanging,
Right.
plus the 1,100 residents of Oscarville, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of emotion being thrown into the environment.
Yeah. So I don't doubt that there are things that happen because the energy is just available.
And you said there was Civil War
Yeah.
burial sites. So on top of that, now you're also throwing Civil War battles
Totally.
in that mix as well.
Well, what was the burial mound that was down there
The Cherokee.
for Native Americans or
Yep.
indigenous people? So
So you have that.
you have
on
that
top
as
of it.
well. Like there's a lot there.
There's just a whole lot of.
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And we all know that you do not disturb Native American burials.
Absolutely.
They are so sacred
That's right.
for them. Like, it's like you don't touch those.
Nope. You don't mess with them.
Why don't we feel the same?
I don't think we care as much. I don't think we care as much about our dead bodies. Now we have campsite hauntings. There's just so many, guys. So many. So while the water gets most of the attention, the campgrounds surrounding Lake Lanier are notorious among locals and park rangers for activity that feels more predatory than the sightings of the open water. These accounts often center on the areas built directly over the former sites of Oscarville and the unrelocated cemeteries. Shady Grove Campground is one of the most popular spots on the lake, but it is also a hot spot for physical hauntings. A frequent story from campers involved being woken up in the middle of the night by a sensation that their tent is being violently shaken. Okay, that would freak me out.
No kidding.
I'd pee.
One camper reported that at 3 a.m., they felt someone grab the corner of their sleeping bag through the tent fabric and pull it towards the lake. When they screamed and unzipped the tent, the campsite was empty. The fire was still smoldering, and there were wet footprints, not of human, but of something webbed, leading from the tent directly into the water. Rangers often hear complaints of kids playing pranks, but when they patrol the area, they find nobody nearby. Some people believe that these are the spirits of the children that were lost in the 1964 Christmas Day crash, seeking playmates.
Oh, if that's true, that's
That's so sad.
That's so sad. The web thing. So now we're talking like web, or like a
Frog
lake
people.
monster now.
Apparently,
Frog people.
Frog people.
they're getting acclimated to the water and changing into
Yeah,
weird creatures.
helps them swim
apparently.
better.
Right. So yeah, exactly. So they actually didn't die.
They just
They
morphed.
evolved.
They just morphed into frog people. So
Yes.
when they grab your feet and stuff, it still feels like fingers.
That's what mermaids, guys.
Oh,
Mermaids.
there you go.
Well, yeah, they're not quite mermaids because they don't have fishtails. They got frog feet.
I know, but I'm saying like
Part
the
mermaid, part-
hands unseen
Yeah.
It's mermaids.
mermaids, man.
It's frog people.
I'm telling you,
Freshwater mermaids.
they can navigate those trees.
Yeah, they could.
The second one is Mary Allison Park. It's located near where some of the deepest parts of the Old Town Foundation sits. A group of teenagers camping in the late 1990s reported seeing a thick, localized blue mist rolling off the lake onto their campsite. Unlike regular fog, this mist stayed low to the ground and seemed to glow. Inside the mist, they saw a woman in a long dress. She didn't walk, she glided. One of the campers claimed that the woman approached their cooler, looking at them with black pits for eyes, and then let out a sound like a high-pitched whistle before vanishing. The next morning, all of the electronics in their camp, their phones or flashlights, were completely drained of battery.
Oh, jeez.
Now, that's very common
Mm-hmm.
when you have a spiritual phenomenon like that.
They're pulling the energy.
Yeah.
They pull energy from phones, your flashlights, your gear,
They drain
your
it.
cameras.
Yep.
Like, it's happened, and it's happened to me quite a few times.
That's why we carry extra battery packs just in case.
Lots of extra batteries and
Oh, yeah.
battery packs. Because
And-
sometimes it
yeah.
happens more than once.
And I will go through my equipment before I even investigate, make sure my batteries are all good.
Yep.
If they're even just low, I'm going to change them out and I put new ones in.
That's right.
So the third campsite is Van Pew North Park. Van Poe? P-U-G-H. We're going with Pew because that just sounds better.
Pew.
Pew.
It's named after a man whose land was seized to build the lake. Well, that's terrible. It is widely considered the most aggressive campground. A solo camper reported hearing the sound of heavy, wet boots marching in a circle around his tent for 3 hours. The camper described the sound as rhythmic, like a soldier or a farmer walking through mud. And every time he yelled, "Who's there?" the walking would stop instantly. So intelligent, maybe. The most terrifying moment came when he felt a heavy weight lean against the side of his tent, as if someone were sitting down right next to his head. He felt the warmth of a body through the canvas. But when he looked outside with his spotlight, there was nothing but dark woods.
Creepy.
Creepy. The fourth one is Don Carter State Park. This park is on the north end of the lake, where the Chattahoochee River enters. See, and I wonder if this is one of the rivers that they're talking about that they were trying to cross.
Yeah.
Possibly,
Chattahoochee,
yeah.
This area was heavily affected by the 1912 night riders. Boom, here we go. Boom. Hikers and campers have reported that the trees in this area don't sound right. So during storms, instead of the whistling of the wind, people claim to hear human screams coming from the canopy. In 2018, a couple camping near the shoreline recorded audio of what sounded like a mob of people shouting in the distance, despite being the only people in that section of the park. I bet that was residual.
That's
Yeah.
got to be residual. That would be really frightening to hear, though.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be tough because
Yeah.
especially if you're not looking for it, you're not expecting it, and you're hearing people yelling and screaming. And
Yeah,
it's
so
not
you're
just
wondering-
one or two of them,
Right. It's a group, but it'd make you wonder what's going on,
Right?
Yeah.
especially if you don't know the history of the area.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is often attributed to the night rider raids. And believers say the land recorded the screams of the families being driven out of their homes. And the atmospheric pressure of the storm plays the recording back. Which honestly makes sense because
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
one, you have water.
Yep.
Two, you have a storm.
Yep.
Which both create energy.
Yep.
Yep.
And whenever we investigate, we love when there's a storm
Absolutely.
because it's like a fuel.
Well, and it amplifies.
Yeah.
Very
Adds-
much amplifies
adds
it.
all that nice, good energy into the air.
That's right.
It's like the perfect paranormal soup.
It's like charged.
Yep. Okay, the fifth one is Old Federal Park. It is near a submerged ghost bridge and old roadbeds. A family camping in a motorhome reported seeing an old man sitting on their picnic table at dawn. He was dressed in overalls and a straw hat holding a fishing pole. And when the father stepped out to greet him, the man pointed toward the water and said, "They're still down there," before dissolving into a cloud of gray smoke. The family later found out that their campsite was relocated directly above an old cemetery that had been partially removed during the flooding in the 50s.
So
They're
that
still-
guy, they're still down there, meaning they never moved those bodies.
Mm-hmm.
They're still down there. Wow.
That would be, I think that would be a really cool experience.
I think it would be
It would be
cool,
sad.
but if you know what's behind it and what he's talking about, it's sad. So it's a little bit of both.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
just wouldn't
mix.
find that as scary to me.
I
Well,
don't think it would be scary.
it depends. If you're investigators like us, it's both sad and
Exhilarating.
invigorating.
Yeah.
If you're just a family that doesn't really believe in ghosts
Or has never experienced
or
anything
never
like that.
experienced anything, and you're just sitting out there and there's a dude that, one, vanishes,
Mhm.
and two, is like, they're still down there. You're like, what?
That's something straight
Is
out of a
still
horror
down
movie,
there.
you know?
Yeah. Because, I mean, I'm sure a lot of these people that are visiting from far away.
Sure. Yeah.
So especially if you're in a motorhome.
Yeah.
You know, you're generally not coming from down the street or the
Yeah.
town over.
You're not local.
Most
Yeah.
of the time, you're traveling a pretty far distance.
Yep.
So you're generally not going to know the history behind the lake.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not like I'm looking up the history of a lake before I go visit it.
Right?
I don't.
I don't.
Maybe we should,
After this.
Just so we know what we're getting into.
right?
So campground spirits are often described as intelligent haunts, and they interact with the campers, they touch their belongings, and they seem to respond to being noticed. Many campers report a sudden silence from the birds. They stop chirping and insects stop buzzing just minutes or seconds before a sighting occurs at these parks, which also happens. I have been out in the woods where everything stops.
It's dead silent.
And you're like, hold on, what the heck? The air changes. It feels thick. Like the feeling feels not right. And it like something shifts. And that's when you're like, okay, I'm getting out of here.
Right?
You know?
Especially if you're alone.
Yeah. So whether you decide to swim or camp, be cautious and be ready for the unknown.
Wah.
That sounds like that. Ooh,
Yeah. That's awesome.
I am pretty certain we've been very close to that lake.
How do you mean?
Well, it's in Georgia,
Yep.
and it covers the Gainesville Speedway. And
The
we-
old Gainesville
the old
Speedway?
one.
The old Gainesville Speedway.
Yeah, we were right.
We were
Not
in
far from
Gainesville,
there.
Georgia.
Didn't think about it.
Little did you know.
I have a feeling
Yep.
we were right near that lake.
Possibility. Very possible.
I kind of want to look it up and see.
Yeah. That was
Let's
cool
see,
though.
where's- Where's Gainesville? Let's see if it's around.
There is definitely some intrigue to that lake.
There is. But with all the terrible things, I don't know that I'd actually want to go there. I think maybe camping there would be okay.
I'd 100% camp there.
Oh, yeah.
I'd totally do it.
Yeah, I think I'd be willing to camp there. I don't think I'd want anything to do with the water and going out in it necessarily.
So Gainesville is a city right along the lake. Gainesville's right there.
Let me see.
It's like the upper right side. Like the northeast side.
Yep.
It's not part of like the big part of the lake.
Right.
No, it's part of it,
Mm-hmm.
or close to part of it.
So we were near it.
We were very near it.
Like right there. Probably drive 5 minutes.
No, we drove right by it. We
Didn't
drove
even know.
right by a portion of it.
Didn't even realize that that's what it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we drove. That lake is massive.
It is massive.
So we weren't anywhere near Oscarville.
No.
We were
Different part
on
of the
one
lake.
of its like many parts of its arms,
Gotcha.
and I think that's part of the issue, right? Is like that lake. When we think of a lake, we think of a fairly large body of water.
Yeah.
But something that we can, overlook a valley, kind of like Bear Lake.
Right.
I mean, Bear Lake's massive,
Sure.
but it's not enormous. This lake goes everywhere. It goes
All different ways.
so many different arms and offshoots of it. And so where Oscarville is, it's on the main lower part of the lake.
Right.
And so I wonder how much is really centered around the Oscarville area and less those upper out of the way spots. Other than that one with the guy walking around the campsite, which is or the screams.
Yeah. I don't know. I would suspect that a lot of it has to do with the town.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's where it's focused.
Mm-hmm.
But also,
I think it branches out in other areas.
I think it also branches out because there's so many people that die there every year.
Yeah.
Why would that energy not be there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
I just think it's more concentrated in some areas versus others.
Yes.
And we talked about already, we talked about the actual battles being fought in those areas. So you got Civil War fighting. You've got the Cherokee, burial mounds.
Yep.
They have the Night Riders.
You got the Night Riders, right? You've got the Klan. The Klan operated in those areas. On top of that, underground, you've got precious metals, gold, quartz, all of this stuff that's amplifiers under the ground, under the water.
Mm-hmm.
One of the richest gold mines in the country was found in Gainesville.
Oh, wow.
So, you have all of this stuff, in that area. Just a hotbed, a soup of paranormal fun.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
I would totally go.
All right, road trip to Georgia.
Let's add this to our list.
Maybe not this year, but it's on the docket. How's that?
It's on the docket.
We'll get an RV, go to a campsite.
Oh my gosh.
No, you guys get an RV. I'm going to get a tent.
We don't need a tent. We got our tent. We'll take
it's like
RV.
a small house.
Yeah, but your tent, it can't be pulled to the lake.
You want to be pulled? Well, look, if you want to be pulled
Isn't
to
it
the
the
lake,
sleeping bag that gets pulled?
So look,
yeah, but he's in the tent.
To make it easier for you, we'll put you on an air mattress.
That way, if they pull you out there, you'll float.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, sweet.
An air mattress with the little rope on it, so they can pull the rope, and you can sleep on a sleeping
just
bag.
Strap me to the mattress.
Right, and then we'll put wheels on the bottom of it, so
I can roll
it's easier
easier
for them to roll.
Okay, well, how about this? To really make it interesting, they have those inflatable tents.
Oh yeah, have you seen those?
Yes, and I'll just be out on the lake already.
We'll just push you out on the water.
And then watch next time, or in the morning, there's no tent. There's no...
Where did Lisa go?
I'm just going.
No, what's going to happen if we do that and get one of those tents is they're going to flip it over so the bottom's the top and the tent's under the water. And Lisa can't get out of that tent.
And we're going to be dead asleep in our RV. We're not going to hear a thing.
Not through your snoring. Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Okay.
We're not putting her out there. No.
She wants to go.
No.
I don't want to go in the lake, guys. Let's just be clear.
She wants to be on the lake in the tent sleeping.
We should get one of those big inflatable balls that you go out in the water in.
Oh, yeah.
See, there you go.
Then you can just walk
Then I can
around.
just run back.
You could just
Not really. I've tried doing
I
it.
know.
It does not work very well.
It's
And
hilarious though.
That was 8 inches of water. It was so exhausting and so much fun.
Can you imagine what the spirits would think with that? They'd be like, what the heck is this?
They're all going to have to get together, have a meeting on how they tackle this
They're like-
floating thing.
They're like, all right, volleyball, let's go.
Half over there, half over here. Let's kick this around.
Could you imagine being in that and just having it, feeling it pushed and thrown side to side?
Or like they were having with the boats bumping underneath it.
Right?
Oh,
So
it's
bumping.
seeing hands.
Yeah, 'cause
And
it's
it's
clear.
So you could see it.
See the hands touching the
Guys, I feel like we need to do an experiment.
It may be your last.
Again, tie a rope to me.
We'll just pull her around the lake and just drop her off in Oscarville.
Elisa, what are you seeing? Can you see anything down there?
She's down there with her face at the
I'm
bottom
like,
of the ball.
Pretty sure I see a lady in blue.
No hands.
Wait.
She got
Nope.
nubbins.
Lady in white.
Yeah, there's always a lady in white, isn't there?
Yes.
You know what's funny? It's a lady in white or a lady in blue.
Yep.
Every time.
Every time.
But I mean, I honestly understand the lady in white because of nightgowns.
Yes.
Right.
That just takes the cake.
A lot of nightgowns, especially back in the days,
nightgowns.
were white.
Yep.
Yes. White and flowy, and
Kind of like wedding dresses.
they were actually beautiful back in the day.
I know.
Some of those.
I wish we
nightgowns.
still had those.
There's a place you can get them.
Oh, I'm sure there is, but they're probably way expensive.
Way expensive, and I don't know how comfortable they would actually be.
Do you remember the show that Jennifer Love Hewitt was on?
Which
And
one?
She Ghost Whisperer?
Oh, I have that whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her nightgowns were gorgeous.
Yeah. I need a nightgown like that, honey.
Deal. I need one too.
Okay. We can be twinsies.
That's right.
But you have to have a cap.
On the little nightcap.
Get a long one?
Yep.
Yeah.
With a little ball at the end.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
All right, everybody. Let us know if you would camp there, swim there, dive there, or boat there. Or if you have. If you have, that'd be great.
Let's hear your story if you
Let's
have a
hear your
story.
stories. But as always, stay ghosty, my peeps. Thank you for listening to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. You can find us on social media at Twitter at CPR Paranormal, on Facebook at Paranormal Peeps Podcast and Cold Spot Paranormal Research. And you can find us on Instagram at coldspot_paranormal_research.